answer by the end of January, maybe sooner. I wouldn't imagine it taking longer than 30 days. Julie, do you have any advice here? I mean, can you make it subject? I'm of the opinion.
I think you need to have some type of date in there. I think just to nebulously say we endorse this concept. I mean, the retirement board clearly set the pension class, and to set this without any effective date, I think is a torturous limbo that I don't think any of us want to be in. If you say you're endorsing the concept and you need to have the financial analysis back as soon as possible, but in no event later than January 31st, and then if Chris, you know, when you get calls from people and say, I'm thinking about retiring, you need to let them know, which is not the courtesy my mother had extended to her with Allegheny County, but to let them know, hey, this is in the works, and this is something that...
When is our next meeting?
There are 3 people that I'm aware of that
February
put it in writing, that are retiring, that put it in writing. They submitted their resignation letters.
Meeting in January. I mean, that's
effective
always a possibility.
As the second and after.
So okay.
Well, yeah, we could do that.
Yeah.
Okay. There's, I know one of them knew about this already.
One person's going to be on vacation, and then she will be retiring on Valentine's Day, but she's not going to be returning. She's already gone from the building, and I believe she's put that in writing that she's retiring effective February.
Because
another person's January 2nd. There's 2 for January 2nd.
Because they do a lot of pre-work with a lot of other things in their lives that they gear towards
that
a
keeps her
retirement
benefits going too.
Well, Julie, maybe I got this. I'm kind of like what Ken said. Is there a way that we could make basically a recommendation,
February 19th.
and then subject to the Board of Commissioners? I mean, could the board then? We don't necessarily. I don't see anything that requires us to set an effective date. It just intuitively, could the board establish the effective date, the Board of Commissioners? Because that's more of a funding issue too.
Yeah, I understand. I mean, I'm always thinking...
And could they do it to January's retro? If the board gets a study, comes out in mid-January, looks it over, and this is how we could do it, could they say, okay, the January 2nd, we're making it effective January 2nd?
The calculations, you have to set an effective date for the class. I mean, it just has
so
to
then
be.
you pick up the residual difference between what they may have been receiving at the 160?
I suppose you could. Again, though, I think that prerogative rests with the retirement board. I'm thinking back to all the other times we've increased the class sizes. It has always been done on an effective date. In fact, it's in the front of our little green booklet. That's the date upon which all calculations are made. What makes this a little different is the retroactivity portion of it, because that impacts on the funding and the amount of the liability. You have to have a date.
Well, it also impacts on if we were going, if it was purely going, it was prospective, it wouldn't matter whether an employee retires on January 2nd or January 18th, because the marginal benefit of those 15 days at a higher class basis wouldn't materially affect their pension. But it's the retro aspect, which is clearly the one that we've all agreed is the most beneficial.
Mid-January commissioners meeting.
So does this? Okay, so this would mean an employee would receive their benefit at the 160th, let's say for the month of January, numbers come in, they're approved, then it's effective back to 1 January 2nd at the 140th, and any residual that they had, we would compensate them for that, portion. Is that how that would work?
I'm really confused.
Do you follow me?
No, I didn't understand that. I'm sorry.
I know what you're...
Yeah.
Could we...
Typically, we do it we calculate by years. All class-based changes since 1971 have always been effective 1/1 of a given year. We don't piece apart a year up to this point. Now, I don't know if you're not allowed to. It's just the way it's always been done. So when we change... No, I'm just saying when we keep track of everybody's class basis, it's always been whole year increments.
Yeah, the other option you have, too, is you could take the action now, prospectively, for the 140th class. Make the recommendation for the board, so that at least takes care of that from this point forward. And then for the retroactivity component of it, have the commissioners, recommend for the commissioners to look and put their financial analysis form, and hopefully...
Set a date, an actual date.
The effective date for the...
Retro.
Yeah, I'd say the commission, have the pension board say that if the commissioners agree with that, that the effective date of that retroactivity will be January 31st, or whatever calendar date you can all live with the understanding...
Could you make it January 2nd?
If you, I mean, can you, The problem is, how can you have an effective date if you don't have all the information to make the decision before the effective date?
But I mean, assuming you did get all the information,
It's like passing the budget next Wednesday without having all the budget done. And that's the unknown of it. So the question really goes back to, I think, where it started. Can Dorm, or can Hay Huggins, or the Hay, whatever you're called now, can they perform some type of an intelligent calculation for the commissioners? I mean, I think my opinion is let Sean do his thing, start talking with the fund managers. Can somebody get on the phone with Norm or Hank now and ask them? Maybe they already have these numbers run.
I was wondering.
Reconvene by this afternoon.
I was, to be prepared for this question,
5 years.
but just put these numbers in and see how that works.
5 years part of this bill, was that number?
It's part of this bill.
It's 5 years.
Yeah.
5 years part of this bill.
It's part of this.
But Norm already said that we have minimal actuarial consequences on the fund.
and we're not required to take action on that
He must
because,
have been able to do a quick analysis
Sure.
already then.
Well, he's been
Under
yeah,
5 years,
looking
so
at
maybe he can do a,
it. Yeah.
we could move to the 140th basis prospectively, and the retro provision, kind of like what you, just let me,
Well, I think to see when you can get intelligent information upon which everyone can base their decision. And like I said, it may be as simple as picking up the phone now, calling the Hay group and asking them.
but if they go to 140th and commissioners, even if it doesn't show funding is possible, what do you do with the 140th class that you approved? You know, you don't have an effective date.
Well, you have to put an effective date.
But they're not putting an effective date, I thought.
Yeah,
Oh, you were?
I thought you were.
Well, that's just,
they're talking January 2nd, they're talking January 31st.
This
I mean, they're
board has
talking.
historically always adopted the best class basis prospectively for our employees.
Are you at 8 years now for,
Yeah, we're 8 years now.
Correct.
do you intend to change it to 5? Which will again, that's your
It
liability.
is in here,
Yeah.
Ken. 5 is in here.
Because that'll, beside the 140, your 5-year 100% is going to
Yeah.
add additional liabilities.
But minimal
yeah,
according to what Norm
that,
said.
that liability, I did discuss that with Pickering. What it means is basically, an employee now has to be here 8 years, and then when they leave, they're not going to have much accumulated as a pension benefit in 8 years' time. What that would do is, it would be an employee working 5 years and leaving here, which would be even smaller. They would become vested. I think Norm was accurate when he described that, the consequences of that, and that is the mandatory provision of the Act because it's an ERISA requirement now. He did not indicate that would have a material impact. Not that even an additional $50,000 liability is material, but in terms of a $70 million pension fund, proportionately it wouldn't be a material event. But these other actions we're talking are material and substantial because they do increase benefits. I don't really have a lot here. I mean,
Why don't we tell the fund manager what else kind of...
Well, but in order to get away from the motion, because you've got a motion on the table and you've got a second to the motion on the table, I would suggest we table the motion, and then we make that call to pay whatever it is, and then come back. Yeah, you're right. When it comes back, there's no discussion on.
can we approve something at the board, the commissioners meeting before the pension board?
As long as the pension board agrees to the class size, agrees to the effective date,
I mean, if we,
agrees to the retroactivity, as long as there's no disagreement between the respective boards.
can we do that and then, can we do that?
Sure.
our meeting, if it's the 14th of January, if we get the information before, then why wait until February 19th? And then approve it afterwards? Can we do something flip-flop?
So you want to approve it on,
All I'm saying is if we're in agreement, and we get the numbers and everything sounds all right, if we're in agreement, why not just flip-flop the voting procedure?
okay.
And then in abundance of caution, if you wanted, you could just advertise for a retirement board meeting, like the retirement board meeting on the 14th of January. For the purpose of
We could
making
do that,
sure.
too.
It's part of your public meeting.
Yeah, we could do that too.
Or make it separately another time. We could advertise it as a discussion meeting.
Or what do we do with this motion then? Just table it?
Well,
Do you want to table it or do we?
Well, you want to vote on it in the event that we don't have
Yeah, I think you vote on it now.